Hey everyone, it is towards the end of the ladder here, so I wanted to take a minute. I wanted to showcase my bow Sorc and put a guide together for anyone who might be interested in this in the future. I get a significant amount of questions from everyone who sees this build. Nobody quite really believes what the damage is and kind of how fast it clears. And then when I enchant people, they are shocked. And then there's an understanding of where all my clear speed comes from. So I have a full guide posted on Reddit. This is an accompanying video which is going to show some of the gameplay of it. So I wanted to cover not only the pre-buff action, but then actually getting into the maps. So I'll give a basic overview of stats and skills here. Enough strength to wear your gear, enough dex to wear your gear, dump the rest into vitality. Enough said there. And then as far as skills go, so we're going to be maxing Lightning Mastery, get 1 into Teleport, and then the Synergy, or the prereq here, Telekinesis, also very helpful. But then also maxing Fire Mastery, Enchant Fire, and Warmth, and then 1 into the prereqs as well. Finally, once you get all of those done, that's where, well, so you're going to be having 1 into each of these, and then after that, you're going to be dumping into Chilling Armor. I dumped into Chilling Armor because it gives more damage than adding into Cold Enchant, and I didn't need the duration increase because the duration is very similar to my battle orders. Which is 300 seconds, and then this is 388. So, once one wears off, then I just do both of them at the same time. But anyway, getting into some of the gear here, I'll keep the screen up on the left side here so you can see what's going on. So I have my pre-buff set up right now. We'll go in and actually get that pre-buff done. So at the beginning of every game, this is part of what this build, what's involved with this build is pre-buffs. So I currently have all of my pre-buff gear on, or at least part of it. So I'll go through the pre-buff motions here. So battle command, battle orders, and then you get your enchant orb on. So get your enchant orb on, enchant up. And then from there, then you're going to be adding add your skeletons or your plus skills armor, a couple options there, and then we're going to be doing the cold enchant, and then we're going to be doing the chilling armor, and then we put our leveling gear on. This all goes back in here. Mars goes on. Geeds swapped out for that extra fire skiller. Razortail goes on, and then the CTA goes back on the main slot there. So at this point, we're ready. We could be mapping. So I'll just go and do that. So I have just a typical map that I do here. So this doesn't have fire absorb and it doesn't have increased life, which just makes maps a little slower. So this one's actually going to go pretty quick. You'll see that it does have the open wounds and it has a magic absorb, which is going to impact the fire a little bit, but this is a very easy map. This is around the density that I look for a solo map, and decent magic find too. So jungles do not have any fire immunes, so that's what makes this one so great for us. So part of the one thing I forgot is I use the Spirit of Barbs instead of the Heart of the Wolverine because that adds just absolutely nothing. I don't do much physical. But then as far as gear goes, so here's the setup. So I have my Widowmaker here. So this has Shale, and then some IAS jewels with all res. You can see my merc just destroying. Yeah. And then so I have a Dream here. Pretty good roll on this one. I use Skulders. I have Amaras with FHR. I have Magnus with Pierce. I have a BK with Magic Find. I have a Wisp with Meh Thorns. It's probably my next upgrade. And then I have a Razortail with Pierce. And then I have Treads of Cthon with Cannot Be Frozen. Other than that, my inventory is a mixture of survivability charms and skillers. So, I mean, you obviously Torch, you have Annie, and then some all-res. I mentioned this in the thread, but the secret sauce of this build is this added light damage on here. It's significant. This 5 damage, it scales 6 times with our Lightning Mastery, so that adds 30 damage. That one adds 130 damage. So it scales pretty significantly, and you can see how high the rolls actually go on those. So I have a few of those all resist lightning damage charms. Then I have all res and FHR. That FHR is important because, as you can see, it drops me below the next breakpoint. So that's the reason I have this one FHR charm. And then from there, this charm needs to be replaced. I would like to get some light damage and all res on there. But then I have Magic Find charms with fire damage, lightning damage, and cold damage, and a mana. I need to replace this one, and I need to replace this one, but these are not a very common thing that people look out for, so nobody posts them. But then fire skillers, so I have lightning and fire damage on all of these. Those, again, add a significant amount. And then I have my 40% beads here. So I'm not going to clear the whole map because that will take roughly 12 minutes for this build. But I do want to just show what the actual style of gameplay is, and then show how fast this actually goes. So we'll just rebow here, and here we go. One shot. One shot. Oh, not one shot. Yeah. So I mean, as you can see. The clear speed is a combination of using your bow and the teleport. I'm not picking anything up here because I'm showcasing this video, but I would totally be picking that stuff up. So you can see how the Heart of the Wolverine dies super fast. So it's like not even worth running. Same with the Heart of the Wolverine. A lot of this build involves telestopping because your Merc is doing 15k damage. The majority of that is fire, but there's a heavy majority of it a heavy portion of it that is physical as well. So as you can see, the build has a fair amount of sustainability and damage, and then mobility too. So I think all three of those are what kind of combines these to be such a good clearer. You have enough sustainability to I'm telestopping with amp damage on. I don't have ES. I'm a Sorc without a shield. So that should give you an idea of kind of what I'm dealing with here. But yeah, so this build doesn't really die very often. As you can see, I don't have very much leech or anything like that, and that's because I only have a total of 65 to 3,000. What is that? Is that physical damage? I do not have a very significant amount of physical damage. All of my damage comes from lightning or fire. Roughly 24,000 from fire, 14,000 from lightning, and then roughly 2,000 from physical, and that's where my 40k comes from. But yeah, this build, this is a very endgame setup. There's a lot of best in slot corruptions that I have, as well as good facets and good sockets and charms. So what I'm showcasing here is the end goal of what this is absolutely capable of. There are, as I showed, a couple other upgrades that I can make, and as you can see, like running through, teleporting, it doesn't make that much of a difference, right? But it's very helpful to be able to kind of teleport around and then kind of stomp on things. Yeah. So and like I said, it doesn't have a bunch of sustain, but you're able to teleport around, get the full rejuves very easily. You can telekinesis, all consumables. You can get open stashes. So all of these things really make this build a very fast clear and a significantly underrated build. There are several items that are definitely a make it or break it kind of scenario, but they're not that expensive. When you talk about other completely endgame builds that have these kind of capabilities. So yeah, that's basically the build. The one thing I didn't show was the single target. So the Widowmaker gives +5 guided arrows. So this is, single target is doing, it's doing the same thing. There is 0 conversion to physical damage. However, the physical or magic damage. However, the physical damage is buffed up a bit, but again, it's not much. So yeah, that is the build. I think it showed all the gear. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to reply in that thread or send me a message, but I'm happy to answer it. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.